I'm about to venture right to the line of hypocrisy without going over here, I think, but welcome to YouTube, I guess. The sickness, whose name cannot be spoken on YouTube, has been rough for everyone, and it has a domino effect. Many people have lost their jobs, or were and maybe still are temporarily laid off. The amount of disposable income those individuals had drops to very little, and then businesses who could stay open also make less money. Comic shops, for example, have been hit pretty hard because even though they can offer curbside pickup, Funko Pops really aren't a priority right now for a lot of people. Restaurants have had a rough go of it, as a lot of people have realized that food is way cheaper if you just buy it at the grocery store and cook it yourself. Who knew? And although people need something to do during a pandemic, a number of entertainment options have seen a bit of a hit as well, although Netflix was actually up. No matter how tough times get, people will find money to watch a documentary series about a weird hick with tigers and a murder suspect. And even though people have more time than ever to jack off, cam girls have also had a tough time in this economy. Which brings us to an Australian model by the name of Billie Beever, an amateur porn star who puts her work on OnlyFans, where for only $12.99, you can see everything from her naked to her getting railed by, I don't know, Vinny Vegemite or Wally B. Bad. Two Australian male porn star names I just made up that someone's very welcome to. Now, I want to start by saying I got no problem with that. I'm pro-sex work, I guess. If athletes can make millions just because they ended up being tall, why shouldn't porn stars be able to make money just because they grew up hot? If someone's willing to pay to watch either, that's what their career is worth. But the problem, of course, comes when they're not willing to pay. She made a video of herself crying, literally, not figuratively, actually sobbing, which she should have saved for the subscribers. Fetishists pay good money for that. But she was crying because she's losing subscribers on OnlyFans, which has led to a reduction in her income.
Like, everyone on TV is always just, like, talking about, like, how everyone's lost their jobs and, like, people can't pay for anything anymore. Like, I'm losing subscribers on OnlyFans. Like, it's my main source of income. Like, I can't pay my rent anymore. I can't, like, work and even if I was to go back to work, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, go work at a strip club, which they're all closed down as well.
Now, I can sympathize to a certain degree. This is where I come to that line of hypocrisy. I came back to YouTube, launched a Patreon, things are going amazing. And then, a month and a half later, a pandemic breaks out, and I lose a few hundred subscribers due to the reason of my financial situation changed, according to the average exit survey. It's still doing fine. I'm very happy with the support I received, and I'm thankful for every goddamn Patreon that I've got. But obviously, it sucks to see subscribers drop. You'd always like to see that number going up. But here's the difference. I'm also sympathetic to why they aren't staying subscribed. I totally get it. Giving me $2 or $5 or whatever versus paying rent or feeding your family, if that's a decision you gotta make, that's no fucking decision at all. You do what you gotta do to survive. But the problem with Billie here, despite having hands that look like she could strangle a kangaroo, is that she doesn't give a fuck about other people. First, there's the caption to the video. I'm an essential worker too. Wrong too, but how so? You aren't essential. You've literally made yourself a luxury item. You want people to pay $12.99 a month when there is an unlimited amount of free pornography featuring literally every type of girl under the goddamn sun and moon. You don't have to pay $12.99 to see a tall, blonde, tattooed girl on the internet doing way more than you'll do. I guarantee that. In fact, professional sex workers have mentioned that amateur porn has ruined their income. A Rolling Stone article included a quote from a model and dominatrix who said, "The influx of so-called civilians, industry terminology for people outside the sex industry, has prompted concern among many sex workers who've long relied on the platform as a source of income and are worried about oversaturation of the market." I mean, she's proof of it. She claims to be in the top 1% of OnlyFans earners, but she can't make rent? Then there's way too many people on there. I once read an article in a Toronto magazine in the early 2000s that was written by a prostitute that will always stick with me. I may have told this story before, but she said that prices at a rub and tug at the time were something like $100, $200, and $300 for an HJ, a BJ, and sex, respectively. But that goes out the window when some dumb cunt is having a bad week and does anal for $50 to make rent. And then every guy catches wind of that and wants to know why you want twice that just for a blowy. So then, Billie doubles down with this statement.
I just want everything to go back to normal so people can keep subscribing to my OnlyFans.
Again, doesn't give a fuck about people's health or their livelihoods. She just wants this to be over so people can make enough money to give her money again to see her tits. Which, points for honesty, I suppose. That's really what every other business in the world wants. They don't care about your health. Best Buy just wants you to live through the pandemic so you can keep buying TVs. But she's like, what am I going to do? I can't go work at a strip club because they're not open and all I have is being what?
They're all closed, like all the strip clubs are closed, like you can't even be fucking close to somebody but the social distancing, so I've got nothing else going for me, like I have no other talent, like I've got nothing else, I can't dance, I can't sing, I can't do anything.
A guy who was in 10 episodes of Game of Thrones, Michael Condren, fucking started delivering groceries. There's lots of shit you can do, even if you're admittedly talentless. If you supposedly can't make rent, which by the way I bet is a lie and this whole thing is a ploy to guilt people into giving her more money, or if it's true, then she lives somewhere way over budget because she thought this would last forever. But if you need money to pay rent, every Woolworths probably has a pervy-ass manager who would hire you in a second just because of your tits. Even if you couldn't figure out how to make change when someone buys a $4 box of Lamingtons and they give you $5. And then, you can sue them for sexual harassment in a few months and get a great settlement. But if you can't pay rent, then you are in the wrong business. I actually went to college with a girl who we found out later was on some site before OnlyFans existed, and she was always complaining that she needed a couple more sales just to cash out. And then she'd offer a sale on her videos like it was a special at the grocery store on a case of Coca-Cola. Just to cash out. Like, just for the company to make it worthwhile to send her the money that she's earned. How much could that threshold be? Like $50? This is a lesson they won't ever tell you at career day. If you're gonna get fucked on camera or show your snatch or whatever, at least make sure you'll make more than $50 doing it. But you know, there's also a great quote from a professional wrestler that comes to mind. Scott Hall. You 90s kids might know him better as Razor Ramon. He once told his friend and wrestling partner Kevin Nash, who flexed after winning a match one time, never make your body your gimmick. It's the first thing to go. Being hot is not a long-term, sustainable career path because eventually you're not hot. Or there's a million people who are younger and hotter than you, and only so many people on the internet willing to pay to see them all top each other doing the most deviant sexual acts on themselves imaginable for the price of a McDonald's combo.